Hi, Jason Pilgrim here from the Profitable Practice Podcast, where we help allied health professionals just like you empower and inspire the lives of so many more people by building bigger and better businesses. Let's go and get stuck in right now.
Well, first of all, you're probably thinking, what the heck is this guy doing? He doesn't even know how to spell. But yes, I do. CoOpertition. It's a blend in your business that does work, and you need to rely on this and leverage this out a lot more than what we currently do. So let me explain it to you right now. Let's get stuck in. Well, I'm the first one to admit that the word CoOpertition itself is a little bit strange, and you might have heard it before. There's quite a lot of people that have spoken about it over the years. It's something that I've been very vocal about in the health industry for probably at least a decade, I think. But if you haven't heard about it before, it's basically the blending of two words and two ideas and methodologies that are fantastic for all of us in moving forward as a business, professionally, as an industry, etc. And what we're doing is we're taking the idea of cooperating and blending that with competition. Now, they're two, what seems most of the time, as polar opposites. How can you actually cooperate with your competition? And it probably exposes the dark, horrible side to all of us at times as people, and at least obviously some of the turf wars in many respects that have happened over the years, whether it's the physio and chiro turf war or the EP and physio turf war, and a lot of that, let's be honest, bullshit that has gone forward previously is based all around competition. And there's a whole lot of stuff around who's doing what and rights and wrongs and jealousy and all sorts of stuff. Let's not get into that. But we need to obviously flag that is the white elephant, the big fat elephant in the room that needs to be addressed. It has been there. It still is there in some parts. But to be totally honest, if you really want to get ahead in our industry, get your business ahead, and go on the quick wins, the low-hanging fruit, and get the parts moving forward that you can directly work on quickly and easily with no money spent. It's not some big elaborate marketing campaign, etc. It's actually just understanding of how you need to best cooperate with your perceived competition. Now, I always just talk about the pie, and I've been talking about the pie and the slice mentality in our industry for a decade. We need to think of our industry as a complete pie, and we all have a slice of that pie. Some have a 0.1% slice, others have a 50% slice. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day what your size of your slice is with the pie. What's most important is the fact that we should be trying to all work together to increase the pie itself. Because here's what happens. When you push back against your coopetition, when you push back against your competition, the guy down the road, the people down the road that do what you do, and no, we're going to put them out of business and we can do this. Let's not get all narky about it. Let's not actually be in that scenario of, pull them down. What do we do better? Let's tell people we're better. Let's try and justify us, etc. Because it's a battleground that you shouldn't fight on. What you should be actually doing is understanding the fact that when you do push back, when you take market share from your competition down the road, what they're first of all going to do is natural. It's an innate behavior of our brain. What they're going to do is push back. They're not going to like what you're doing directly in competition to them, and they will see that as a personal threat. They will see that as a threat to their career, their business, their progression in the profession, and as a net result, they'll push back. Now, I could give you loads and loads of examples of exactly how this happens, and I could use the business names, I could use the towns, the people, and all that type of stuff, but I'm not going to do that. Anonymity is actually a good thing in times like this, but I can tell you it has happened for years in so many different places. Maybe it's a semi-rural location that has 2 or 3 main providers, and they're in that scenario where they've spent too long looking sideways at their competition, looking sideways at what he said, what she said, what was happening here, there and everywhere. And as a net result, they get distracted from what they should be doing. They get distracted and they get themselves misaligned with their vision, with their actual benefit they're providing to clients, and as a net result, their town or their area actually suffers as a result. And let's be completely honest, all of us suffer as a result. So we need to actually stop that bullshit. We need to stop always trying to push back against our competition, because the moment you try and increase the size of the slice of the pie for yourself, you're going to naturally have to take that away from someone else. And so the mentality as a business owner we need to have is we need to actually stop trying to just push back against our competition and increase the size of our slice of the pie, and we need to actually start to grow the pie as a whole. Because if you've only got a 1% slice of the pie and you all work together and increase the size of the pie and the pie doubles, then straight away you've actually doubled your slice of the pie to 2%. But it also is exponential, because it's not a 2%, it's not a 1% becomes 2%, it becomes actually 3 or 4%, because the pie as a circle, if we want to talk geometry, has actually increased quite significantly as a result. So the benefits of actually growing the pie and not the slice is actually considerable. It's actually so much better for the industry, for you, for me, for all of us, if we actually work together and not just push back against the competition, which is why we really should be cooperating with our competition. We should be looking at what they do well, what we do well, and how we can best work together. I mean, I do this all the time. I have 2 or 3 other main providers in our area that we actually work with. We understand that those people actually are very, very good at working home visits in a particular system, and so it's a lot more feasible, it's a lot more effective, and it's a lot better for our whole business and our whole team of like 14 people to actually cross-refer and work with them in that industry. So we can actually push clients to them. They actually in turn do the same with us, and as a net result, they're growing and we're growing. We're getting better patient outcomes. We're having a lot more synchronization with different working parties, different businesses, and the industry as a whole. And as a result, we get fantastic movements for the community moving forward. So the first thing is this: we need to stop the pushback of just trying to increase the slice of the pie for ourselves against our competition, because all we do is create like basically small pockets of infighting. We end up then looking negatively at everything that goes on. Every time they do something marketing wise, we always go, oh, they can't say that, they can't market that way, and it becomes negative. It's a downward spiral that doesn't help anyone. So what we need to do is change our mentality. We need to stop and go, hang on, why aren't I cooperating with my competition? There's so much more to be gained by that. All right, we get it. It means that together we have a stronger voice as an industry. We could have a lot more powerful voice against government controls to do with workers' compensatory bodies. The avenues of which we can or can't work inside the Medicare system. The challenges around NDIS, for instance. We should be able to, as a group, have a much stronger voice. But there's too much infighting and too many people trying to just initially and always push back against their competition to get more market share, rather than trying to actually increase the size of the market as a whole. I mean, I could go on and talk all about how people should be doing more volunteering on different boards and advisory committees. Like for myself, I've spent 8 odd years giving to my association, 5 or 6 years on state chapters, 3 years on the national board. I do a lot of stuff, and I have done a lot of stuff, like a 5-year stint with the Chamber of Commerce as a president. So you've got to be able to get in and actually volunteer your time. You've got to be able to get in and be the one to instigate this with your competition. Take them out to lunch. Get on a phone call and say, hey, why don't we actually work this together? We're not turning around and saying that you have to do, sing Kumbaya in a circle and do all this beautiful, soft, fluffy stuff. But why wouldn't you have a professional relationship where you can sit down every couple of months? Maybe it's once a month, maybe it's once every 3 months. Have lunch together. Find out what they're doing and what you're doing and how you can best operate together. It doesn't mean you have to go into business partnership with your competition down the road. You don't have to do any of that. But what it does do, it makes for a much easier environment to build and grow from. It means that the industry as a whole grows. It means that the whole pie grows, and you'll actually find that you're now collaborating and cooperating with people that can actually help your business grow. Your competition, and I think people see competition all the time as a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. Competition's great because it makes you originally probably panic, but what it does do is it makes you stop and think about your own systems, your own marketing, your sales. What else can I do for this client? How else can we promote ourselves? What do we need to change to do this and this? And so as a net result, it actually forces you to become better. So competition's great. It actually forces you to do more, be more. It forces you to value add to your clients, be a little bit more innovative and creative. And as a net result, you become an industry leader. You become, you go where the puck goes, not where the puck has been. To, talk about Wayne Gretzky, he always said he would, skate where the puck was going to be, not where it was. Same thing. It means you can position yourself, your career and your business where the industry's going. So you can be seen as the industry leader. It allows your business to grow and move forward. So it really is about cooperating with the people you perceive to be your competition right now. And then we could go into the whole understanding of gratitude and the pathways in which that actually opens up inside your brain, the ability to have increased emotional intelligence. The gratitude has dopamine released from the brainstem. And so when we express it towards others, it actually increases the social dopamine circuits within our brain. So it actually drives progress and incentivizes the brain to do more and be more. It increases your happiness. It turns on the learning centers inside your brain. It also hides and masks the small low-level bits of pain and frustration and anxiety. So overall, you're placing yourself in a better mindset to actually, work on bigger projects. And it's a really highly addictive neurotransmitter as well. So it enables you to obviously have more social interaction. It increases serotonin, so it makes you feel good, gives you pride. It's released, I think, off memory from their anterior cortex, or the anterior cingulate cortex. Geez, that's stretching myself back to my back to sort of neuroscience days and things like that. But at the end of the day, let's not bury ourselves down into it too much around gratitude, but it does foster pathways for you to be smarter, to be more innovative and creative, to have a more positive outlook, to look up and actually see the longer term goals. So as a net result, the more you actually engage in cooperating with your competition, the more gratitude that can be shown, the more positivity that can be brought to things, and ultimately people are attracted to that. It enables your team to grow. It enables you to have the right people around you, the right referring channels, the right corporate partners, the right private patients, the right everything to do with your business growth. That's what you need to be looking at. So it means as a group we can all work back against government regulations or challenges we have in the industry. It means more of us can actually work together to make bigger things happen on a bigger level. So let's look at these guys. Let's make sure we grow the pie, not just your slice. If you push back and create that negativity against your competition, you're going to be forever looking internally at your local area as such, as who's saying this and what are they doing? Oh, hang on. And then we need to... Guys, it just doesn't work. It's not a great way to live your life, personally or professionally. You don't want to be looking for the bad side of people. You don't want to be looking at the negativity. You want to be catching people do the right thing. You want to be able to step up and be a better person and be a better team in that respect, because that's what we're trying to do in the wider community. Right? So my whole thing is this, guys. We need to know more about CoOpertition. We need to involve ourselves with cooperating and coordinating good, positive growth and marketing strategies with who we currently perceive as our competition. Don't see competition as a bad thing. It's a good thing. Go out there and start the conversation. Work with your competitors so that everyone's able to grow together. There's so many benefits to it, and to be totally honest, there isn't actually a downside to cooperating with the people in our industry and cooperating with the people that you are seeing as your competition right now. There's no downside to it, so why would you do it? If you want to keep competitors in the dark at arm's length and not help them out and stay, try and keep them from knowing anything or this and that because you're secretive or they're going to steal this and you're going to be negative about it, your business and your mindset is always going to be framed that way, and you are just literally stunting your own growth. Can't say it more clearly than that. So let's make sure that we cooperate more, we start working with our competition and having CoOpertition as a blend that works more in your business just like it does for all of us that are already doing it. I'll talk to you guys soon.
Hey guys, thank you very much for listening to another episode of the Profitable Practice Podcast. I would love nothing more than for you to be able to leave a review. I get so much joy out of listening and reading the amazing things that you guys say about this. So please subscribe to our channel, leave a review, and share it with your friends. Let's get some more fantastic information out there so all of us can grow the industry together. Cheers for now.